for LSU, losing Brian Kelly, how does that affect Texas in terms of recruiting, in terms of transfer portal, all that stuff? How does it affect
Yeah.
Texas?
I think it opens some doors to some big time recruits who are committed to LSU right now because unless they go bring in Urban Meyer or Nick Saban, like they have to bring in a major name to like keep those recruits to me. But if not, there's plenty of talent down there in the Bayou that Texas should probably go take a peek at. And if guys enter the portal, like they don't have a bad roster by any stretch of the imagination. So, if I'm Texas's GM right now, I'm looking on that team. It was like, okay, where can we get good players for a good price and fill some obvious holes that we have on this roster? Whether that's O-line, whether that's the cornerback room, safety room for next year. Like, what does this roster look like next year? I'm going straight to LSU. I'm looking at that Florida roster. I'm looking at these high profile jobs that are out there where guys are going to be in the portal and seeing how we can improve this Texas roster.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking at some of the players in their recruiting class for this upcoming year in 2026. There's a lot of guys that Texas is looking at that is on LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys have already, committed. Some guys are thinking about committing. Some guys, are now having to make a decision. So a few names, big name here, Lamar Brown, one of the top players in the 2026 class. He is committed to LSU now. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's tough to pull those guys out of LSU. Those guys love LSU. It's a big state tradition, Louisiana State. So it's tough to get him out. But right now, Texas is not one of the favorites for Lamar Brown. If he's gonna flip, it sounds like Texas A&M could be the spot for him. The next one is Trenton Henderson, 6'4", 225, 5-star edge rusher. This is from 24/7 Sports. Florida guy, but he has already taken an official visit for Texas, and he's one of the top potential flip targets for Texas. Although Texas has some pretty good edge rushers already in their class. I've heard some other names too. Richard Anderson, Jabari Mack. Jabari Mack already had a visit to Texas at one point.
Yep.
Kenny Darby, a little bit down the board, a receiver. But there are a bunch of guys in this 2026 class for LSU. And of course, a lot of them will end up staying. It's not going to be, like all of a sudden Texas is going to get every single one of these guys. But there is a really good chance Texas could be the beneficiary of Brian Kelly being fired. And frankly, look, this is no disrespect to any of the guys committed to LSU. I don't understand why you would commit to Brian Kelly. That guy is somebody
he was never a fit there. As a guy who got to be around Coach O and like be in that building, I never understood how Brian Kelly fit Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That is down home. We're family. Their country is all hell, but great people down there, great atmosphere. I will say the loudest place I've ever been to.
Oh yeah, night game,
bar none. Oh my god, it's rocking, stadium shaking, but great atmosphere. It's so much going on. Brian Kelly was not the guy, was not a fit. And to your point, the fact guys went there they were, oh yeah, I'm going. I never understood it, and like it always rubbed me the wrong way that Greg Brooks, who ended up, with a degenerative disease, I believe, hurt himself, whatever.
Oh, yep. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Brian Kelly never reached out. Yeah. And like he was a good football player, scouted on him, tough, physical, all that stuff. Like really good football player, better person. No one in the building had a bad thing to say about this kid. And Brian Kelly never reached out to him once he wasn't on that team. And I always felt the way about that. That is terrible to me.
There was another player who went to LSU. I don't know what his name is, but he put out some tweets basically kind of telling a very similar story of how he got recruited there. He was treated well when, he was producing for them, but when he was a backup or when he was hurt, Brian Kelly just did not care about him. There was some stuff that Josh Pate said about how he didn't know anybody on the staff or didn't know most of his staff and whatnot. Yeah. He was taking vacations during recruiting and stuff. Like, this is why that whenever conversations pop up about should Texas fire Steve Sarkisian, I just say, guys, it could be a lot worse. You could have Brian Kelly.
Oh, my God.
And, we talked a bit earlier about some of the recruiting classes for LSU and, under Brian Kelly. for a team in LSU that is a hotbed with a ton of recruits, they don't recruit as well as you think they would. I mean, they're recruiting top 10 consistently, but they're usually outside the top 5. Like last year, they were 10th in the composite ranks. In 2024, they were 7th in the composite ranks.
Yeah.
2023, they were 5th in the composite ranks. Like, this is LSU. They should consistently be up there with Texas, Georgia, Bama, fighting for top 3 classes, but it's not really been the case.
Well, part of the issue is Brian Kelly was leaving Louisiana. You don't leave. It's like it would be like Sark going to California and Florida to get talent when you're in the state of Texas. Louisiana has plenty of talent. Per capita, they have the most players in the NFL. It's for a reason. It's a talented area. He was going so many other places where he was comfortable recruiting, going to get guys who weren't as good.
Yeah.
Where you are in a hotbed of talent. I mean, like, I'm talking about direct impact and guys who would develop and get better and be impacting years 2, 3, and 4. But he never capitalized on the fact that you're in one of the, Houston's right there. It's a 3.5, 4-hour drive. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
right in your backyard essentially, and you're LSU. So yeah, man. Like, whoever they bring in next is going to have to understand how to recruit that area and understand the importance of keeping those kids at home.
Yeah. So in that sentence, what would be some candidates for you if you are LSU? Which, by the way, LSU is probably the top job out there right now. I know there's Penn State. Florida is a good program. Well, has had history as a good program, not as so much as late, but LSU by far and away the biggest job opening out there. Even if Florida State opens, even if Michigan State or Michigan, even if Michigan opens, or Auburn, which is crazy to think that it can even get that much crazier. But
that would be insane.
LSU is probably a top 5 or 6 job out there. But
I would say top 3.
It might be top 3 because I look at it. It's Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Bama, even Georgia. I think LSU is probably a better job than Georgia, honestly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So okay. Well, if I'm the AD, the first thing I'm doing, I have to do my due diligence. I'm calling Nick Saban.
Yeah, swing big.
And I'm saying if he wants to come back home. Hey, Nick, how much? What are we talking here, right?
Yeah.
What does your wife need for you to come back? Because ultimately, ain't even your decision. What does the missus need for you to come back, right? Let's say he gives me a hell no. I'm going to Urban Meyer. Urban's track record checks out. He wins everywhere he goes, minus the NFL. That was never a fit. That was like Brian Kelly going to LSU. Was never a good fit because he can't control grown men the same way he does college athletes. So, I'm calling Urban. Then, me personally, I'm calling Dan Lanning.
Yeah, got to go there.
I think he's one of the, like, he got out of the SEC as a defensive coordinator, took the job at Oregon, and really has turned him into like a perennial powerhouse. Like, Oregon's always been good, but like, we're talking about Oregon in a different way now since he's been there. And then the last guy I probably call, who, because I know at the least he can score some points, Lane Kiffin. I think you gotta call Lane and test that temperature, more so because you can offer more than Ole Miss, and you're in a recruiting hotbed in terms of talent that Ole Miss doesn't have, and you were winning in spite of that. So come to Ole Miss and give them a blank check. I would give all those guys a blank check. Like, come on.
Yeah, there's
what about you?
Man, I mean, you hit the top ones there. If I'm looking at some smaller names, man, Matt Campbell, I don't know if he'd be I feel like Matt Campbell could be a fit at LSU. I think Matt Campbell is just perfect for Iowa State. I just don't really think that would be one. Joe Brady, I think Joe Brady, obviously former coordinator. For
I was
LSU. Thinking
about that too. Like, former coordinator, national championship team. He's ready to be a head coach. He's an offensive coordinator in that. Like, I can see that being a good fit for sure.
You could go with the Tulane head coach.
John
Summerall. Then you
Yeah,
can go.
that's a
He's
really
a
good
good one.
fit.
Eli Drinkowitz, I don't think's a fit for LSU. I
No,
think he's really good
no,
at
no, no.
Missouri.
Yeah,
Um, I would stay as far away from Jimbo Fisher as I could. I'm looking at the odds right now, and Jimbo Fisher's on there. I'm like, get away from him.
no,
I think
no.
one that LSU fans probably don't want to hear that I think could be a good fit because he has won in the past, but not at the highest level, would be a James Franklin. If you're looking for somebody that you can guarantee he's going to step in and be a good coach that maybe can compete with better talent at LSU. I mean, he's going to
Ah,
recruit well. I,
he
I
is.
think I don't know if he'd be a good fit for him. That's what I'll say. But I do think he has a history of working
Hmm.
in of course, some big schools. So for me, like I said, or like you said, if I'm the AD, I am calling up Marcus Freeman. He's probably not leaving, but I'm calling Marcus Freeman. I'm calling Nick
Mm.
Saban. I'm calling Dan
Yeah.
Lanning.
Now that's a good pull because Marcus Freeman is more of an LSU guy than Brian Kelly
Yeah,
was.
by far,
Like
by far,
he
yeah.
can recruit that area way better than Brian Kelly could. So I'm I'm
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not mad at that.
and
Oh, that's
people
that's a
like
good
him.
pull.
People like Marcus
They
Freeman a lot.
do. They do.
It's just going to be, does he want to leave Notre Dame? It feels like he's pretty loyal to that program. So, yeah, I think I'd call those guys up. If I can't get them, of course, Lane Kiffin's a really good candidate
Yep.
because he's a really smart offensive mind. Lincoln Riley, I think I'd
I
also
thought
call,
about
but
that.
he's
I
not going to
thought
leave
about
USC,
that.
though. It'd be tough. Tough to get him out of USC. So, yeah, obviously, you got to go big fishing first. I don't know if they're going to be able
You
to
do.
land any of those. Do you think Mike Elko from A&M would be a
He,
candidate? I think
he ain't
I don't think
leaving.
so.
He's not
Yeah,
leaving. Like
I don't think
knowing
so either.
him and coming from Duke, like he's a very loyal guy. Like
Yeah,
and I think he wants to build Texas A&M program. Like you got to think like they haven't won anything since like the 50s.
true.
Anything of relevancy. So to like be that guy there, he'd be a he'd be a legend there. So I don't think he'll leave. Um, but who knows? But no, I can see it being a fit though because
Yeah,
he has a coach aura about him in terms of energy and like the way he does things. But I don't think he leaves Texas A&M.
I don't either. And last thing I'll say here, LSU has some really talented players that are on their roster right now. I think
Man,
if they land a really good head coach, I think a lot of these big name guys stay. But there are some dudes who Texas might want to take a look at. Harlem Berry, number 1 ranked running back in 2025,
yep,
talented player. LSU hasn't really used him a ton. DJ Pickett, 5-star true freshman out of Florida, 6'5", 195. Man, that's good stuff right there. If he can adjust to playing in the SEC, maybe develop in certain spots, maybe he leaves LSU. Trades Green, obviously, if you want more of a veteran linebacker, Whit Weeks, I think he might go pro at the end of the year. They also have
yeah,
some really solid
probably.
offensive linemen. So, all in all, man, look, LSU is in a pickle here. They're going to have to hire their head coach very quickly, and their head coach right now might be a head coach somewhere else that's maybe contending for a playoff spot. So they're in a really tough spot. I do wonder, like, if a team were to hire Lane Kiffin, let's say LSU hires Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss makes the playoffs, like the timing of that would be really difficult.
So he would finish out the season with Ole Miss. His like the issue is how much of his staff is he want to bring with him to
LSU.
down to LSU because the way it works is coach gets hired, he interviews the guys who are at the school he's going to, just in case he wants to keep anybody. Maybe he knows a couple guys on that staff and he wants to keep them in a different role. So then is that offer? Then it's getting his staff from Ole Miss down to LSU, and that's like, and it's not just coaching; it's personnel. Is he going to bring the trainer? Is he going to bring the nutritionist? Like they have all of that there, but is he trying to bring his own people? So that's what makes it tough for a guy like Lane Kiffin or guys who already have a job. So
Well, then
it's
you
a
also have to
to me it's a
think
top
about
job though. You got to
you also
take
have to
it.
think about transfer portal. You also have to think about the National Signing
You
Day.
got the national signing day coming up, like all of
Yeah,
that, because then all your recruits at Ole Miss who maybe committed. Now, how many do you take with you to
to
offer
LSU.
at LSU, and then how many LSU guys do you want to keep on? Like it's a different animal to change job, especially same conference. Like you're in the same exact conference. Like you are playing with fire in ways that don't want to be you. Minus the check.
Minus the check. Yeah, I was going to say you want to make that money. They ain't making that money. But
give me $15 million a year.
Texas fans, let us know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Brian Kelly being fired? What are your thoughts on how this can affect Texas? Let us know in the comments below.